morning, and I am all funked up. Yes, it's the funky edition of the early morning Sunday show. Are you feeling good? Because I'm feeling good. So good. And to help us get us started, we got James Brown. Nobody does the funk better than James Brown. He is the godfather of soul, but the godfather of funk, man. So, funk. Let's just talk about funk. What is it? Funk. It is, how best describe it? It's a rhythmic, danceable music that, instead of focusing on melody and chord progression, it focuses on the bass and the drum and creating a mixture of beat, this backbeat that's just relentless. And James Brown says, do it on the ones, it's just, it comes at you. It's very danceable. Funk is about dance, but yet there's all these different genres. You have psychedelic funk, there's even disco funk. It's all over the place. It's about groove, man, and it's just pure groove. And this week, my pickups that I'm going to show are all the funk albums I've been buying. I've loved funk. My very first album that I really remember as funky was Parliament. And when I bought the Clones of Dr. Funkenstein, I got it by accident from Columbia Record Club. I opened it up and go, little guy, Nebraska, open it and go, what the hell is this thing? And no idea. And then I put it on. And I've been Funky Steve ever since. So let's get funked up together today, all right? I hope it's not going to be a long one, but I got some funk, man. So first off, there's some funk involved in this, but not all. I took it out of the packaging. There was this Motown box set. It comes in this cool box. It has some little shrubbery, grass on there. Jamie Cottle showed this a few weeks back, and he does a much better job at box sets than I do, but I was intrigued by it. Now, I like Motown. I have some Motown greatest hits, a lot of Motown records, but the thing's a little house. Is that just not darling? Wow! Pop off the little house here. You got 11 CDs in there. Again, you want to see a good unboxing, please check out Jamie Cottle's channel. The man is the king of the box sets. He does a wonderful job showing box sets, explaining them. And Jamie, for God's sakes, do a room tour someday. Holy smokes. Nice size book on here. I don't know how he does this stuff. Pictures, it kind of goes into all the songs. The issue that I have with this is, as a historical document, it kind of sucks. They don't give a lot about the artist, anything. I've read a number of books on Motown. What can you put? This is every Motown #1 hit ever made, but a little more info in there would have been nice. And I really felt that was lacking the info. But this is the Motown studio. If you ever get to Detroit, please take the chance to visit it. It is a marvelous tour. Really fascinating place. So that's it. The Motown #1 box sets. #1 hits in a house. Oh, isn't that fun? So when Jamie showed it, it looked a lot bigger. I gotta go, what? How come it looks bigger on Jamie's channel than my channel? I don't know. Maybe Jamie got a bigger house. Beats me. All right, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do some funky music. Love this stuff. And we're going to begin. A week or so ago, Dave from Localbandography. Check out that channel. Dave he knows a lot about jazz, but he gets into other things too. But he showed this album, and it's from Joe McGee, and he talked about this. He said he said free jazz. Free jazz scares me a little bit, okay? I can't say I'm an expert. I know I'm not an expert. It's not my #1 thing, free jazz. But then he said the magic word, funk. And this thing is incredible. You know, Joe McGee was born in 1939. He's still around. As far as I know, he's still around. Born in Miami, but lived in Poughkeepsie, New York. If you're a kid, you have to spell that everywhere. Hey, spell Poughkeepsie. That'd be a rough one. He's a multi-instrumentalist. He learned trumpet early on, and in high school, when he went into the Army, he played the trumpet. But at age 32, he says, you know what, I'm going to learn to play the sax. Pretty amazing, huh? So at age 32, he began playing the sax. He's known really in Europe. Even when he's in the Army, he's based in Germany. And he didn't like the structure of like bands, so he formed his own band, his own jazz combo, and actually became known in Europe. So there was a record label, and it was a Hat Hut, I believe. I believe the record label was called Hat Hut. It formed, it's a Swiss label, it formed solely for him to record his music. So Joe McGee is really known in Europe, probably more so in the U.S. This is called Nation Time. It's his second album, came out in 1971. It's a tribute to Amir Baraka. It's about building a black nation. So you have that political part. This thing has just hard funk in it. You listen to this thing, and the back rhythm, the drum and the bass are incredible, which is what funk's about, bass and drum. And it just drives, it's propulsive, it takes you through. There's side one is just one song, Nation Time. And I mean, there's really was no structure, let's just play, let's just go. But because of that bass and that drum, it keeps the playing together. That was done live, and the Scorpios dance is live. I'm gonna play a song called Shaky Jake, and Shaky Jake is just a little. If you like funk, it's just this funk jam. It is so good. Now the saxophone takes off and starts doing its own thing during it, but the whole time, bass and drum have funk going on. This was an incredibly good album. Joe McGee, Nation Time. Dave, I can't thank you enough for showing this and getting me interested in this album. I've just been playing the blue blazes out of it. Wonderful, wonderful. Jazz, but funk. Then, this came in yesterday, so it wasn't on my list, but I just got it in. The Isley Brothers. And it is Go For Your Guns. All right, hold on, listen. Oh, we crunched the binding together. Came with a nice little book talking about this album, about the Isley Brothers and about the lyrics on it. It was just a little fun extra put on. Isley Brothers started in 1954 in Cincinnati. Their dad was a vocalist, their mother was a pianist, and so the boys, they made into a doo-wop group. They had doo-wop and gospel, but through the years they've kept changing to soul, to funk, to rock. Still, there's two generations. I believe they're working on their third generation of Isley Brothers. That's, they've been around such a long time. The thing with the Isley Brothers is they'd have a hit that would just be a smash. Think of this, shout. Then they would just kind of go dormant. Not they weren't playing, but just, their material was lacking. Then they'd have another huge hit. This one came out in 1977, and it brought them back. And this thing just reeks of funk. It is just, there's some softer songs on here, but some of this is just incredibly good. Living Life is just like, it rocks hard. They have Go For Your Guns, which is the title track. It's an instrumental, and it was done by the second generation of Isleys. That thing has incredible guitar work on there. I'm going to play you a snippet of that thing. It's just kind of mind-blowing what they do. You have that funk beat down below. The organ is in there in the groove along with the bass and the drums. And then this face-melting guitar. I took that from Dots and Loops. Face-melting guitar. Just sears through the whole thing. Wonderful album. I got this from Music on Vinyl. I don't remember ordering this. I think I ordered something else and this came in, so somehow I ordered it wrong. Because I looked at my invoice and this was correct. So I don't know what I did. But by God, that was a great accident. Love this thing from 1977. The Isley Brothers, Go For Your Guns. It is a funk classic. This thing went huge. It was all over the place in 77. And some of the songs, like Footsteps in the Dark, is just sampled all over the place. Everyone was sampling it. The Isleys. We're moving along. We got James Brown going. I just got in this repress, and it's Up for the Downstroke, Parliament. This is their second album. You got funk, you want funk. Parliament was funk. George Clinton's band. This one came out in 1974. And a few videos back, I talked extensively about George Clinton and how he came around. Well, you know, Parliament was one of his two bands. There's Funkadelic and Parliament, but since they had been on different labels, they stayed on different labels, and they're two totally different bands. Parliament's about partying. This is a party band. It's sex, drugs, party. That's what it's about. And Up for the Downstroke was his first hit. And what really, you know, it's an easily singable chorus. You know, just something that brings you in, and everyone starts singing. It's easy to dance to. We're up for the downstroke. Everybody get up. Great music. What sets this one apart from the first one is Bootsy Collins comes in. This is the one, and you hear the bass on there. It's Bootsy Collins' bass. And where'd Bootsy come from? The godfather of soul, James Brown. And the Horny Horns play on this for the first time. Where'd the Horny Horns come from? Godfather of soul, James Brown. Darn right. James Brown didn't like paying his people a lot. He was hard on them. They came to Parliament. This was about sex, drugs, do whatever, wear whatever. It was totally different. How could you not want to go from James Brown, who was very strict, to Parliament, which is all about party? Nice pickup here. I did not have this. I don't think I even had this one on CD, and I'm only missing Chocolate City on vinyl now, and I'll have the complete Parliament catalog. So great pickup. But I talked Parliament. Who was the other group? Funkadelic. This One Nation Under Groove is probably one of the single greatest funk albums ever made. If you look at a list of all-time greatest funk albums, One Nation Under Groove is going to be on that list. Beautiful. This came out in 1977. It was the 10th album from Funkadelic. So Funkadelic, they started in 1968 and they went on to 1981. Their Parliament was 1970 and they ended in 1980. So where Parliament was about party, good time, these guys were political. This was George Clinton's political group. But they did it in not in a militaristic way, but they did it more in a funny way. He would always say, George Clinton would go, it's all about telling the uptight society to just knock it off, man. Don't be so uptight. Don't have a corn cob up your butt, for God's sakes. It's more, we can have fun as a society, but we need to loosen up. And of course about, Black Nation. The artwork on Funkadelic, and I was trying to think the name of the artist. He's really, really famous. He did almost all of them, but sorry, it escapes my mind right now. But incredibly good. Maggot Brain, I believe Maggot Brain was their second album, and this one here, their 10th album, are the classics of Funkadelic. If you had two Funkadelics, those are the two. This thing rocks. Great guitar work in here. Takes off. But then the bass, the drum is really, really incredible. So this is the rock arm of funk, and they called this, in fact, it used to be called black rock, and this is the pinnacle of black rock. And black rock was a mixture of psychedelia, blues, funk, and soul. This was it. Wonderful, amazing. Into a group that suddenly I have found their catalog in vinyl. Someone locally had must have sold off a bunch of their music, and I have been the recipient of most of it. And I'm talking about, been showing them lately, War. And here we got All Day Music. I didn't really show you labels. Some of those were new represses. They weren't anything special. Warner Brothers, here's United Artists. So War started in 1969. They're still out there, still going. They were one of the most popular funk bands out there in the 70s. Huge, especially the early 70s. It was a mixture of soul, of Latin, and that's what I like about War, is they bring in the Latin grooves into it, the congas and the percussion. They have blues, reggae, rock, jazz. It's all mixed into War, and they were very political, but they were kind of more of the sunny side of it. It was a Southern California band, and it has that laid-back Southern California groove to it. I mean, a nice warm day, you could just sit back and listen to War and feel good. It's just really nice music. So this was their second album. This one came out in 1971. 1971. And it was in the charts for 39 weeks. The first album didn't do too well. The two previous had been with Eric Burdon, so I don't count them as War. That's Eric Burdon. War started, I believe, 70, and then this was in 71. Mellow grooves on here, nice. It's kind of a little jazzy, but it's just not. It's not like a fiery jazz or anything. Just these nice mellow grooves. All Day Music was a hit, and Slipping Into Darkness. I don't think I could play anything on this one, so it's kind of weird on War. Some of it's totally blocked, and some of it just no one gives a rat's ass, so it beats me. But this was the one that really began to get War noticed, All Day Music. Then they produced in 1972, we got The World Is a Ghetto. Just, isn't that incredibly cool artwork? I just think it's wonderful. So the world in the Ghetto, this became their first #1 album, and not #1 on the R&B. We're talking #1 album. Again, it is. There's great vocal exchanges on here. That's the beauty. A lot of funk. You have this chorus and vocal exchange, and it comes from the gospel. You always hear James Brown. He'll say something, "Play it funky," and then the chorus will play it loud. The vocal exchange happens, and always popular within funk because you have the backbeat going and you're throwing out the lyrics like that. On here, Lee Oscar, he was the harmonica player. He hits the pinnacle. He does some beautiful harmonica work. I'm trying to see here. World is a Ghetto, City, Country City. Cisco Kid is on this one. Also, Papa Dan Allison, I think that was his name. Gosh darn. Yeah, I believe it was. He's the percussionist. He comes into his own on this one too. So you have great harmonica, great percussion going on within the funk, which makes it interesting because usually you don't think harmonica with funk music. They make it that way. It's all about this whole Latin thing coming into it. So the world is a Ghetto, 1972. Just two of the pinnacles of war. They're early albums, but these were ones that were super important. Of all war that you were to get, those are the two. We had this one came out. This was 1973. Then Stand and Deliver. There we go. Stand and Deliver. It's Deliver the Word. This has a kind of a cool insert. Again, it's on United Artists. So Deliver the Word. Again, 1973. They began to put more jazz and rock fusion into this, so it really began to change. It's softer sometimes. The funk's starting to kind of be brought down as they're experimenting more. You have jazz fusion happening in these funk, and we're starting to say, hey man, that's some pretty cool stuff. So they're starting to get into it, but still it's there. The funk's there. They have Me and Baby Brother, which is one of their all-time classic songs, and Gypsy Man. I'll be a gypsy man. So the funk is happening, but they're beginning to move a little bit away. And it's not as strong as those previous two albums. Still classic war in here, but just a little bit different. My next one was in 1979. It's called Jazz Music, the Music Band, War, the Music Band, Jazz. This one's a little roach, but the vinyl's beautiful. I hadn't seen this one before, but they did a trilogy of jazz albums. They even brought in a female vocalist, and her name was Alice. Alice Jennifer? Wow, man, am I going blank today? Haven't been sleeping well, I guess. I believe Alice Jennifer. But it's a vocalist, but it's more jazz. This thing has this is really jazzy. The funk's kind of disappearing almost completely on here, and they're getting really into jazz. I'm going to play you a snippet of this one too so you can hear what that sounds like. But it's a total change of direction. This was the best of the trilogy. They did two more kind of jazz ones, and they all really tanked. They weren't doing well. They had, before this came out, they'd done Wars Platinum Jazz, and that had a lot more funk. This just went into a stronger jazz direction, but to me it's kind of like soft jazz, more pop jazz. There's nothing really experimental. They covered no new ground on this whatsoever, but I enjoyed this one. I hadn't put it on the record, so I go, what? That's War? Kind of blew me away. I found the single. This is from Outlaw. Outlaw was a 1979 album. They just had the single so I could hear it. Again, it's a little funkier on this one, but still with the jazz. Not much to say about it. Then there was a 1994 album. This is War, and this one's called Peace. What's it called? Peace Sign. From 1994, so they're still going. They were trying to get back at this time, look, a little bit older now, a few more people. They're trying to bring back their funk, but to me it's a failed attempt. I wasn't impressed. I'm glad I bought it just to hear where they were going, but they weren't going anywhere really. And this album struggled. To me, it was not that great. It was very, very weak. I mean, they're trying to do something. It just didn't work out on a War label there. So Peace Sign from 1994. Funk gone wrong. Final funk album we have today. We got a little Prince. Just picked this one up. Didn't have this one. This is Prince's second album. You know, he had just done, and this one was done in 1979 on Warner Brothers. He had just made his first album, and it didn't do anything, and he was so pissed off about that, he went right into the studio and began recording another one. And he came up with this one, and it is, well, it's called Prince, self-titled Prince. His first one was called For You. He played every instrument on here. He produced the whole thing, and he was 21 years old. 21 years old. Went to number 22 on the charts. Did really, really well. Again, 1979. It has this smash hit, I Want to Be Your Lover. Only sold 2 million singles at that time. He has a kind of softer, Why You Want to Treat Me So Bad. There is also... let's see, Sexy Dancers on here. Really good. Is it Prince's best? No, to me it's a little uneven. But this, 1979, this is the blueprint of 80s funk. Prince laid it down. Prince put it down. Here's what we're going to sound like. And everybody copied the sound on this album. And you go in, you start listening to your 80s stuff, your 80s funk, and it is all copies Prince. This to me was a trailblazer, really began going. There might have been some other groups doing something similar at that time, but this thing has that pure 80s sound. Interesting stuff. There we go. That's my funk pickups, all funk. Generally I like to really mix it up, but I had so much funk, and funk is a music that I just think, I mean, maybe I'm just all funked up, man. Dude, you're one funked up guy, but funk is where it is, where it at. And you can use the word funk on so many fun things, and it's all okay because it is a form of music. So hope you enjoyed that. Look at some of those albums, well worth seeking out. You know, just something different, just beautiful music. Makes your ass move, and my ass doesn't move very well, so it works. Glad you dropped by, really appreciate it. I had some VCLT I'm listening to that I'm going to do a whole finds video with it. You know what, there's some people who have been really nice and sent me some stuff, so we'll do that maybe later on this week. Thanks everyone, have yourself a wonderful funky week. Thanks, bye.